Auric is tired of being pushed around by the Vine, so he's invading Loom. Welcome to the Complete Story Series, where we take trade paperbacks and single issues and we break them down into digestible bites to help you understand. Then we read automatically back to you. All alterations to the panels, text, and images are to prevent copyright problems, and all art is owned by its respective companies. In 402 AD, Auric of Darcia, heir to the Visigoth throne, suffered a crushing defeat at the hands of the Roman Empire, losing his father and his wife to the Roman legions. He sought revenge and attacked what he thought was the Romans, only to discover that it was actually aliens known as the Vine, and he was abducted as their slave. In their ship, he escaped using their holy armor, the Shanhara armor, the Manowar. When he returned, he discovered that 1600 years had passed, and the Visigoth had been written out of history. To make matters worse, the Vine decided to invade Earth in response to an Earthling gaining use of their armor. Then he destroyed the invading fleet and decided to return the favor, invading their homeworld. You do not screw with Auric. He landed on their planet with a VOOM! A priest of the Vine religion looked on confused as to why a sewing ship just crash landed on their planet, and Auric steps out of the fiery wreckage. I have brought your armor home! The priest smiles. The day has come! The armor of Shanhara has chosen! A new age has dawned! Except Auric is not the chosen one. Auric is the destruction of the Vine, as he shoots a few of the followers and then charges at them with his sword drawn and ready. Your empire falls today! He shouts, cutting them in half. After killing a few people, Auric approaches the priest that tries to stop him. I was there when you stormed the temple, the armor bound to you. I thought it was sacrilege, but please forgive me. To witness that sacred moment, it was the greatest of blessings. Auric raises his sword, prepared to finish the priest off, when he takes a shot in the back. The Vine's army have arrived and they are using cannons on him. As Auric takes to the skies, destroying every ship in his path, they try to fall back and he opens fire, destroying all of them until none remain. Then he lands back in front of the priest. He puts his blade back to the throat of the alien. No one will escape Auric's revenge. But the priest warns him, be careful. If their planet dies, so will the remaining members of the Visigoth people. The priest leads Auric to a vast land with walls built around it, and Auric is stunned. My eyes play tricks. How can this be, priest? To you, it feels as though only a handful of years have passed since you were captured. But just as Earth has aged 16 centuries while you were aboard our colony ship, so did time pass here. Your years became generations. Your Visigoth people live. Auric flies inside of the walls, dragging the priest with him as the priest is pleading for him to stop. Guards patrol outside of the walls, but inside, we are not safe. Auric assures him that he has nothing to fear from his own people, and then he sees a red-headed woman with his family crest on it. He runs over to her. I thought I'd lost you, wife. Your husband has returned. He grabs the blanket and realizes this isn't his wife, and he demands to know where she got it. He then turns to the priest for answers, and the priest informs him, these are the offspring of your people. It is your clan, as proven by the crest. Everyone here works the gardens, and the garment that he holds is proof that this is his lineage, and it's been passed down from the original Visigoth slaves. Auric points at him. I have known enemies like you. They were the Romans, better weapons, bigger armies, and you think that that makes you gods. What gives you the right to impose your will on others? Just as you worship your gods, we worship ours, and what we do in service of it. Where is your god? I wish to have words with him. Do you not know? You are wearing it. Auric looks down at his hands. This is only armor. Our faith teaches that the Shanhara will choose a worthy wearer, and that individual will usher in a new age. Auric considers this, and then he launches into the sky. To usher in a new age, we must baptize with fire! He soars into the Vine's armies, tearing apart their war machines and beating them down with their own legs. But eventually they grab each one of his limbs and they shout out, for the good of the Vine! And they launch missiles at him, sacrificing themselves in an attempt to drop him. Yet, Auric survives, and he begins to stumble away, so they launch another barrage of missiles at him. The explosion throws him even further, and he begins trying to pull himself along as they start trying to land soldiers near him. Seeing their ships approaching, Auric opens fire on them, destroying the ships in mid-air. One of the soldiers then hits the ground, and Auric tries to shoot at him, but misses and passes out finally. The armor itself detaches and it floats nearby. The soldier walks over, seeing Shanhara and realizing this human is the chosen one. So he picks up Auric and carries him off, leaving the armor there to be collected by the Vine. Auric wakes up the next day with the red-headed woman at his side, and he jumps up startled, but he falls back down due to his injuries. Auric thanks the mysterious woman, and then the alien that carried him walks back in. Shanhara be praised, you have survived! Auric gets up ready to fight, but the priest stops him and explains that this is Dalgan. He saved him. Dalgan explains that if the Shanhara has chosen Auric, who is he to question? And then the priest explains that Dalgan isn't the only one. Many on the Vine homeworld of Loom have been waiting for this day. While this should be a day of rejoicing, it's a day of which eons of devotion are unraveling because of those that consider him an abomination. As he speaks of this, the generals of Loom are planning their attack on the slave colony of Visigoth. They will eradicate every human on Loom if they have to. Back with Auric though, he steps outside using the garment with his crest on it for warmth, and then he sees the pyres. They explain that every night individuals die in their sleep while in captivity, and Auric realizes he needs to free his people. He throws the garment on the fire just as one of the slaves shouts, "The masters are here!" The priest tells him that he has to run and hide, but Auric sees the army and knows that this army is not for one man. They are here to kill everyone. Luckily, he can feel the Shanhara armor in his body. His left hand was severed and regrown by the armor. So he holds up the arm, and he begins to try and summon the armor. Over in the Vine's containment field, the armor breaks out and it shoots over to Auric, and he can feel it coming, so he leaps forth, ready to fight it. And as he's about to land in the middle of the fight, the armor arrives forming around him. He begins slicing open the army, opening them from mouth to gut, splitting them open and blasting those who stand before him. The priest tells each of the Visigoth slaves to run for the forest. They must hide, while Auric continues his onslaught, gutting the Vine's soldiers. The generals see where the slaves are going, and they send soldiers in after them. So Auric blasts off into the sky, and he bombards every single one of the aliens, and fire burns all around them. The army realizes that they are outgunned, and they begin calling for a retreat, and the slaves cheer as Auric has saved them. But this isn't the end. The priest informs Auric that there are many slaves in this world, and if he could get them all on his side. It doesn't take long for that very thing to happen. Auric gets every slave race to join him in his fight against the Vine, and they launch a full charge on them. While this is happening, the priest and Dalgan have been captured, and they are at the council to discover that the council intends to use the Sky Array to destroy the entire city as Auric attacks, in hopes of dropping the armor once and for all. And while the casualties will be great, they will keep word from getting out that a human has taken the armor. Back with Auric, the battle rages on with him in the lead, and the entire army of the Vine stand between him and the city. As they drop the army and make their way to the city, the general has the Sky Array get prepared. The priest is in disbelief. The Shanhara has chosen. You'd kill millions to hide that fact? Then one of the council members smashes him in the head. Shanhara is a lie! The prophecies are fiction. The reason no Vine could ever wear it is because no Vine can wear the armor. You have dedicated your life to a myth, priest. The armor has not chosen this animal because he is divine. It is because he is not Vine. Our research showed it was indeed born of a Hara Vine, but the Vine was not of this world. It is not of any of our worlds. Just then, their escape transport arrives so that they can get out of there before the Sky Array destroys everything, and Auric blows it up in one fell swoop, telling them he will decide who gets to leave. He lands and he breaks the council's weapons, preventing them from even harming him. And then the priest stands up and declares the prophecy is fulfilled. The human is the worthy one. Auric then takes the council's heads. He literally cuts them off, and he dials up the Sky Array as it's charging to tell them that he has taken Loom, so they can either stop the array and stand with him, or stand with the council as he holds up their heads. The troops on the Sky Array all bow. Worthy one, we obey. The people of the Vine begin following Auric as he is now their chosen one, and they show the entirety of Loom the fact that Shanhara has chosen. It is a new age. A few days pass, and Auric leaves Loom in the hands of the priest and Dalgan, and he wants to bring his new wife Sana to Earth with him. He walks to the pilot's seat on the ship and has a seat. With his job done, he has now gotten his revenge and found his people. While it's been a crazy journey, it's not over, is it? Because Auric now wants Darcia back. Darcia doesn't exist anymore, so he'll just make it. The story of Exo Manowar does continue onward, and we will get back to it eventually, but first we are going to cover a few other Valiant stories. Don't forget to chat with me on Twitter at Comicstorian, follow our Instagram at Comicstorian, and check out our gaming channel, Eligible Monster, where you can find gaming comic books, let's plays, and various other videos. I'll see you guys next time right here.